Hello everyone. Today we're going to be starting our carpet install on my 91 Caprice. I've already took the time to remove the passenger side, and I'm going to show you how to do the driver's side, which is the same. First I'm going to start by removing the front seat. It's held in with 14mm bolts at the bottom. There's 2 in the back and 1 on each side in the front. Now the front seat on mine is power, so you have to watch out for power wires. Let's get started. Now you're going to want to start with the trim pieces that hide the bolts under the seats. There's 1 on each side and 1 in the back. It's a simple Phillips head screw that take them off. With the trim removed, you now have easy access to the bolt that's under there on both sides. Here's your back trim. And remember, when you're working on the front, to take your seat all the way back, and working on the back, take your seat all the way forward. Now all I gotta do is remove those and remove the bolts. Here's the rear seat bolts. I had to use a wrench on the front ones. They were in a small tight spot, but these you should be able to use a wrench on this one, but you could use a ratchet on this one. Same with the other side. Now's the time when you're gonna want to find if you have power seats and unplug them before you go to pull the seat out after removing your bolts. Now after removing the 6 bolts that hold your seat in, you're going to want to grab the front right here and the back and lift it out, making sure that your wiring harness is unplugged. Yep. And make sure you pull your seat belt down through the seat. Now you're going to want to remove your seat belt, and you can just pry out on this and it pops right off. And you can see you can unscrew it, but you still got to apply pressure on one side. Now there's a Torx bolt down inside there you'll have to remove. It's going to take a lot of pressure. Now after removing that bolt, don't pull it off too fast, because you have to remove your seatbelt warning light plug. To remove the back seat is pretty tough. What you're going to want to do is you're going to put your knee right here, push down and back at the same time. Now my seat's already out. I've already had it out before. And what it is, you can see these bars right here. They lock on the floor. There's a little clip here that goes back and forth. And the reason you got to put pressure is to go down up under the lip and pop it back out. And that's what this bar right here does. It goes in there and you got to push it down and back and it pops out. You got to do one side at a time, and it's pretty tough. It took me a couple times to do it. I'll show you what the clips look like in the floor. So here's the little clip in the floor. This is where the rod goes. The reason you got to push back and pull up is because it hooks right here. Pops right in there. Now, after removing your back seat, you will not have to remove your seat belts in the back. They go up behind the back seat. So after that, after your front seat's out, you want to remove your trim. Now the trim will go all the way up front to the kick plate, the side trim, this bottom trim right here that holds your seat belt, and your top trim. You'll have to remove this star bolt up here too, along with all that. And then back to right here. All this has to be removed. All that, you'll have to pull the mount bracket in the floor for the seat belt. Then you have to pull this out to pull your seat belt through, and to remove your top bracket, to remove all that to get the carpet out. Now, only thing holding it's Phillips head screws. Now most of mine's already out. Try not to break it, because it looks like mine's been broke before. Now I'll remove that. After removing your Torx bolt up here, all you do is simply pull toward you. It comes right off. Now you're going to want to remove this by popping it off straight forward too, same way. And then you'll have to get out. And pull it off. Now there's another Torx bolt down here you'll have to remove. And they're in there pretty tight. Now, after removing that, you pull it up to the bottom, and then from the back side, pop that out, and then turn it sideways and slide it all through the hole. That's how that piece of trim's removed. Now where that piece of trim was broke, you're going to pull this piece of trim off. Make sure all your screws are out first. After all your screws are out, it's just simply pulling it toward the back of the car. And then that piece of trim's out. Best thing to do with your trim is to put it in your trunk. Close it, make sure nobody messes with it. Now after all that's out, you get to remove the carpet. Now that you've removed your front seats, your back seat, your seat belt buckles, and your trim, it's time to remove the carpet. So here we go. 25-year-old carpet. Here we go. 25-year-old carpet is out. So after you removed your carpet, there's a couple things you're going to want to do now. One's going to be if you have any rust issues. Mine's just surfaced rust. That's it. That's all there is. You can wire brush it, hit it with some primer, maybe some kind of sealer, if it's that bad. If there's anything else, holes or, you know, rust that's about to go through, replace it now. This is also a good time to run your RCAs and your remote wire if you're going to be running subs and amps to your head unit and down the center. After priming it, you can see not much. Ran my RCA wires and my remote wire to the back. I used really strong tape to hold it down. That's the best way to do it. I do not run power wires inside the car. I always run them underneath and put it in a hole in the back. Now for the next part, we need to put all the bolts back in. Those are the seatbelt bolts and the nuts on the seat frame. Need to go back in. Now, after you've fixed your rust and you've put all your nuts and bolts back in their holes in the floor, it's time to put the carpet in. With your old carpet out, you're going to want to stage it to where it's almost exactly as it was in the car. This is your template for your new carpet. Your carpet's going to come bigger on all sides, so that way you can cut it to fit exactly the way it needs to go in. So here's the old carpet. Then you'll have to work your new carpet in to fit the old carpet. Now you can really see how much of it needs to come off, which is about 4 inches on this side. Don't look like any in the back has to be cut off. About 1.5 inches on that side. And about 6 inches in the front. That's what you'll have to cut off. What I recommend doing, if you have Taylor shears, which I don't, I'm going to be using razor blades. You can cut it easier with Taylor shears just straight around. It will take you a while with a razor blade, but it'll be done. When you cut your carpet, you're going to want to leave a 1/2 inch to 1 inch all the way around the old carpet. So that way you can fit it inside the car for a perfect fit. If you cut it right now all the way around, when you get in the car, it might be too short. This carpet is pre-molded, so it's going to go in really easy. Do you knock everything out of your way and shove it in your car. And it does have the foam on the back, so you don't have to keep anything from your old carpet. And you will have to work it after it's been shipped. You'll have to get all of them pushed back out. And you gotta keep pushing it forward. You gotta go under your pedals, under your vents, over the hills and through the woods. And just keep pushing it. Jumping back and forth from side to side. With the carpet loosely in now, you'll see what you'll have to trim around the pillar posts and in the back around the corners. Once again, this will all flatten out once you get your holes for your seat bolts And for your belt buckle bolts, you just got to keep moving it, and then you'll have to trim up on the sides too, where your kick panels will go on this side. Same with the other side. Then you will have to trim your door seals the rest of the way. Now that you've got the edges of your carpet trimmed in front, you can remember I told you to put the bolts back in, and the reason being, when you push on them, you can feel them. And what you do is you just put an X over the bolts. There, and this one there. And then they just push through. Then your bolt sticks through. Then all you have to do is lift your carpet up, and then put the and then put the bolt back down through. I already did it with the seatbelt bolts. Now you can't do that with the other side. You'll have to cut it big enough to where the bolt head will fit through. Alright, so what I was doing on the other side, which you probably couldn't see, here's your bolt. Found it. Find the edges. Cut it with a knife. Now, the padding behind this is really tough stuff to get through, so you may have to cut it a couple times. And you definitely want to cut it in an X pattern. There you go, it pops through that easy. Now you do the same thing when you're finding your seat bolts. So here's one of the other ones. So again, cross pattern. Push through. And just widen it till you can get to the bolt, get the bolt through. Alright, once you have your bolt through, basically the only thing you can do is take it off by hand and pull it through, and then push your carpet down through it. Or if you get lucky enough and it's up high enough, you just work your hands around it. Pop it through, put the bolt back on. And find the next one right next to it. And that's it. Then just do that with the rest of the bolt holes. Now with your bolt holes cut and your electronics pulled through, and you can start with the seatbelt buckles. Now the carpet will lay down flatter with age because it's still in like its pre-molded shape. And once you get a 25-year-old, they're not all going to be perfect. Now with that bolted in, you're going to want to move on to your kick panel up front. So the next part you want to put on is going to be your kick panel. Now it hooks up in there behind another piece. So you want to get it in position, and then reach up under there and hook it into where it goes. And then this piece of trim will hold the front edge, and there's a loop in the back that holds the back. Now that that's hooked back there, you want to put it in this part. And this is your whole bottom trim piece. Now this side gets more complicated because you're going to have to run your seat belts back through your holes. Now with your lower trim put on, it's starting to put this upper trim back on. It's held in place with clips, and then you have to use this bolt for your seat belts. Pretty easy to put on. Just gotta find that lower piece. There it is. Now, when you put your bolt on, don't forget your trim for this part of your seatbelt. Now, with all your trim back on, it's time to put your seats back in. So after you get your seat in and aligned with the bolt holes, you can bolt it back down. Mine isn't going to be bolted back down for now because I plan on doing the Bonneville seat swap. Same with the passenger side. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to put the passenger seat in. The passenger is the same as the driver. You just want to remove the bolts in the floor that are in the carpet location. Again, mine's not going to be bolted down for now because I am doing a seat swap. And the best way to do it is to set it in and try to lean it on the back edge of the mounts and then lean it over onto the bolts. That'll help you find it, and try to use your hand back behind here to find your studs. So as you can see, I actually missed. I got to come back further on both sides. So alright, I got it. There it is. Yep. Now all you have to do is bolt them down. Back seat's the same. I will be doing the 4-bucket swap, so I'm just going to sit the seat in. All you have to do is cut out the spots where the U-clips are for the bottom of your seat to hook in. It's the same way you took it out. You just put it in there, press down in the clips, and kick it forward. Now you can start with your back seat first, and I would recommend it because it is a little bit tough to get in and clipped in. with the seats already in. And that's it. New carpet installed, seats, everything back in. The black and burgundy looks great. Now you can see how good it looks. The black and the red, which is my favorite colors. Front looks just as good. Of course, you got your nice foot spot over there. Fits great, looks great. I love it. Black and burgundy. Thanks for watching. Everybody remember to visit Street Trends. They have everything you need. Carpet, seat covers, gauges. Everything you possibly need for your inside and your outside. Thank you.